hello. We are back at it again. Hi, Barry. It's so good to see you. And it's amazing to be live again. And I'm very excited this evening tonight. And considering the guest that we are having, I'm pretty excited. So, Barry, how are you feeling about today's chat? The topic of discussion being how can entrepreneurs set up their businesses in order to get investment and partnership. I'm personally looking forward to the chat because, well, I'm a business owner and definitely I want to learn a lot. And therefore, I know that there are people that are watching us tonight that are also looking forward to learn. So, how are you feeling about the topic tonight?
Hi Eunice, hi everybody. I'm really quite excited about today's discussion. Obviously, the chat room, every time we're having valuable conversations, but today in particular, we're talking about entrepreneurship. Really something that's very close to my heart. And not only are we talking about entrepreneurship and investment, we're talking about entrepreneurship and investment with Mr. Mwale Mooto. And I've had my own share of interaction with Mr. Mwale Mooto, obviously on the KWEZA show, and we got to learn quite a bit about each other and learn about business as well together. Whilst on that experience, and as somebody who's interacted with him, I'm looking forward to interacting with him tonight and getting to learn from him and in regards to what he has to say. So this is quite big for me, and I really just can't wait to get started.
Yeah, most definitely. So wherever you are watching us live, just let us know if you're watching us from Lusaka, the Copper Belt, Southern, Western Province, out of Zambia. Please do let us know in the comment section. Remember, it's the chat room, and these conversations are a two-way thing. So if we are speaking, we expect that you respond and ask questions so that we are able to converse. Hi, Jackie. Welcome to tonight's conversation. It's good to see you. And I hope that you are excited about tonight's topic. How can entrepreneurs set up their businesses in order to get investment and partnership? So I would like that people who are viewing us from wherever they are viewing us to be able to send their questions. And also on a lighter note, when I put up the posters and asked people to prepare their questions, one of the questions from the ladies were well, you should ask this man if he could be my husband, but it was just a funny thing to experience. But yeah, I love that people are engaged and part of the conversation, and are looking forward to learning tonight. Jackie, how are you feeling about tonight's topic, and what are you looking forward to learn?
Excited. One thing about Mr. Moto is hi Barry, hi. I hope everyone is doing fine. Amazing. Gotta say that. So I'm pretty excited to learn from him concerning just how to attract investors and just how to manage yourself. Like how do you in 1 million? Like what do you tell them? And just general things of how you can successful at it. Everyone's doing great, so I feel like there is so much to learn from him.
Most definitely. So, you could be a small business owner or a big business owner looking for investment or looking to partner with somebody. So tonight we have our guest who has experience um, in this topic, and definitely to after tonight, if you are an investor who is looking to invest in a business, maybe you could also like learn one or two things, because it goes both ways. And if you are looking for investment, also you could learn how to make sure that your business is set for investment, and that is exactly what we are going to be learning. I'm a business owner as well, and really I would just like to find out from my colleagues before I share my experience with regards to partnership and investments. um, Barry, tell us what you think about partnership. What do you think are some of the things that you're supposed to put in place if you're looking to partner with anyone in terms of business?
Okay, so first things first, and not to preempt what the guests will talk about tonight, but some of the basic things that you want to look out for before getting partnership is ensure you have a solid structure, and that means a business needs to be able to define itself on the basis of structure. And probably for me, structure is something I'm passionate about, looking at corporate governance and how businesses must structure themselves before they're ready to be ready for investment. Because what structure entails is stability. And when you're thinking of investors, they always want to look at your structure. How does your business work? Who's part of your business? What kind of registration does your business have? Those kind of things. And this is something that many entrepreneurs today in Zambia don't have. And by entrepreneurs, we've got many businesses. Maybe someone owns a saloon, maybe someone owns a barbershop, maybe someone is doing photography, maybe someone is doing makeup. So we're having a wide landscape of entrepreneurs, sole traders really, but still entrepreneurs who are coming up. And most of the businesses are one people businesses, where the business is that person. And so because of that, it becomes tricky for people to learn how they can move to the next level. Because the business is themselves. So usually it's hard to trust just like one person. But if you feel there's a structure around that, you have a form of community in regards to how your business works, I feel that really greatly aids to getting investment and partnerships.
Amazing, great. So just there to before I lose my thoughts, and I believe that many of the people that might be watching us are sole traders, so to say, but are entrepreneurs. Are like, you are the business. If you are sick, then the business is equally sick. If you're not there, then the business is equally not there. So if you move to Kitwe, that's where the business moves to. If you move to Mfuwe, that's where the business moves to. So and so in tonight's conversation, I want you, our viewers, to be able to write down those questions as to how, if you are such kind of a business, what exactly you would like to find out in regards to setting yourself up for investment. It doesn't have to be huge sums of money. It could be an investment of 500, 1,000, and more, starting from there. So that's still an investment. So ask questions. We want to converse with you. Ask questions so that our guest doesn't go away with all the knowledge and wisdom he has to share with regard to the topic at hand. Remember, tonight we are discussing, if you are joining us now, we are discussing how can entrepreneurs set up their businesses in order to get investment and partnership. So it doesn't matter whether you are a photographer, you are still a business, and if you are looking into growing your company further, these are definitely the kinds of conversations we should be having and discussing and asking questions about. So Jackie, hi, would you perhaps have a view as to these people, such as makeup artists or photographers or people that lend out money or people that just simply, go about small businesses, how you think that are some of the basic things. Yeah, we know we have an expert who is going to come and address the big stuff, but what are some of the basic things that even an individual should be able to know and be before they look for investment or partnership?
All right, thank you so much for the question. I feel like the most integral part when it comes to running a business is understanding how much profit you're making. I feel like sometimes people run a business, they're making losses, but they're having a business. I feel like if we take time to look at how our finances are doing, how good am I doing? Is this growing my capital? How is my net doing? How is my profit doing? In comparison to my expenses, and how am I, being able to manage that? Because I feel like, when you're attracting investors, especially when it comes to your business, you need to show a good report of how well you handle your finances. And how well you handle your finances will determine how far your business goes. So if I feel like if you are not handling that integral part, whereas in You can be running a business for years, but you're still stagnant. Why? Because you are not measuring your net worth. How much are you saving from your business? How much are you, growing and net worth accumulation? Like, is that benefiting your wealth? If it's not, then I feel like that's why you have to restructure. And I'm glad that Barry also talked about partnership. You can't run the race alone. If you want to grow your business to a level where you make a lot of money, you need to have partnership with people. And I know our generation is I want to be alone, I'm a one-man show. But when it comes to business and being successful at running one, you need to be able to partner with people and work with people. Because like you said, if I get sick, I'm running my business, I'm alone. If I get sick, that means my business is. For the three of us and we're running a business together, if I get sick, that means the two can still carry the show. And I think that's something, yeah, we really miss. Yeah, I think that those are my thoughts.
That's amazing right there. So if you are joining us live tonight, please do tell us where you're watching us from in the comment section. Remember, it's a conversation, and we want to hear what you have to say concerning tonight's topic. Our topic of discussion tonight is how can entrepreneurs set their businesses up for investments and partnership. So Barry, what do you think that is the best time for somebody to want to get investment? Because there are people that might be out there and thinking, no, my business is doing fine. I don't need investment. Is it necessary to invest? Is it necessary for me to partner? So just a brief about what you think.
Um, when is the best time to get investment? When you want to grow. I think the answer for me is when you want to grow. And I believe every business out there wants to grow, as in they need to grow. And the idea is to be able to grow as a business. So when you start a business, maybe you're able to raise your own capital. Maybe you're ranking up to 1,000 kwacha, maybe 50,000 kwacha, depending on where you are. You start that column, you're able to save maybe 50 people, you're able to save maybe 100 people, depending on your market. When you discover your limitation, this is as far as you can go, but you still feel you have potential to grow. You now start thinking of investment and partnerships, and other people coming onto your team. And it's where your business ends. Does it still have capacity to grow beyond that? What is lacking? So sometimes it's money. That means you start looking for investors to come in on the idea of money. Sometimes it's just valuable partnerships. That means you start looking for other partners to come into your business. But each business that wants to grow has to think about growing their working capital. They have to think about being able to grow, and that means being able to bring in investment. So it's at a point when a business owner realizes, I want to grow as a business, that they start thinking about investment and value partnerships coming in. So that is where you start. And well, that's supposed to be the beginning, because the very point of business is to grow, right?
Most definitely. And I mean, all this information coming from my colleagues. What more a guest, guys? Like, I'm really excited. I am super excited to learn in tonight's discussion. So remember, if you are joining us live tonight, please do let us know where you're watching us from. And if you are enjoying the show, there's no harm in just saying, you know what, I am enjoying the show and I'm learning a lot. And maybe if there's something that has stood out for you, do post it in the comment section so that if there's anybody that's joining in later, they can be able to catch up and just also be part of the conversation. So yeah, we'll be back after this break. All right, great, awesome. So just another reminder is the grand debate is still on. Barry, could you just please highlight, in case we have people that are joining us for the first time tonight, to be able to highlight to them and be able to explain to them about the grand debate and if it's still going on, if applications are still coming in, and when exactly we are expecting our first grand debate.
Okay, thank you for that, Eunice. Zambian Grand debates are on, and basically, what we want to know as a chat room right now, we already put out the first motion, is we would like to analyze the issue of marriages and divorce. Over the last couple of years, we've seen a spike in the divorce rates that are happening in our country, and we want to study this issue and find out what impact social media is having on the rise in divorce cases. So our first motion for March is social media the leading cause for the rise in divorce cases. So basically, we're looking for people who have got ideas that we believe are able to impact our society. If you think social media is significantly impacting the divorce rate in Zambia, if you're saying yes, we'd like to hear from you. You can participate in the debate by emailing us at the chatroom at passionfrontiers.com. If you're saying no, we'd still like to hear from you. But basically, we want to analyze the impact on social media on the rise in divorce cases, and not only for all participants, people who get to participate for the first prize, you get an opportunity to walk away with 1,000 kwacha. So you get to share ideas that we believe will impact our society positively when it comes to marriage and the rise of divorce cases. And once you share and you are heard, you get to walk away with 1,000 kwacha. So that is the opportunity that is there when it comes to Zambian Grand debates. It is still open. If you have ideas when it comes to this area, please do come through. We'll be happy to hear from you. So moving away from that, right about now, we are about to introduce Mr. Mwale Mooto, who's going to come in to elaborate more in regards to today's topic, which is entrepreneurship and investment. How can you upscale your business? How can you get investment for your business? Are you a small, medium enterprise? Are you a sole trader? Maybe you're not even registered yet. Like, where do you start from? So these are all burning questions. And in Zambia right now, there's an explosion of entrepreneurship wave, and we have so many entrepreneurs coming in from all angles. Like every day I go on the street and I see entrepreneurs everywhere. And what we need now is to share knowledge on how we can begin to grow, how each entrepreneur can begin to grow. And here with us tonight is Mr. Mwale Mooto. He is not only an entrepreneur or one very inspiring entrepreneur, but he's a youthful entrepreneur. At only 27 years old, he's been able to get so many investment opportunities. Most recently, he won the Zanaco's KWEZA 1 million grand prize by sharing his idea and his business with the world. So we're going to hear from him. What are some of his secrets? What are some of the things that have been working for him? What does he have to say when it comes to getting investment for your business? And how can you get started? So right after this, we'll be having Mr. Mwale Mooto coming in. Mr. Mooto, welcome to the chat room.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. How are you?
Oh, good. Oh, good. It's good to have you here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Jackie.
Okay, so Mr. Mwale, today we are on you, and thank you very much for coming through to the chat room. I was glad we could have this conversation. I know we've had a couple of conversations behind the scenes, but for us to be able to share knowledge openly for the benefit of others is something that we believe is very, very important. And for you, seeing your commitment to empowering other people, not only yourself, but other Zambians as well, so they can also thrive as you are, it's really encouraging and something worthy of applaud. So tonight we are talking about investment, how businesses can set themselves up for investment. So we'd like to hear from you. Just a general brief, just a general discussion around that particular question, and then we'll be able to follow up with a conversation. We'll have our audience interact with you tonight, ask questions, so we're able to learn together. So, Mr. Mwale Mooto, what are some of the things that have been working for you when it comes to business? What are the most important things that to look out for in setting yourself up for investment as a business?
Thank you very much, Barry, for the invitation. First and foremost, I'm very excited to join in this conversation. I must mention that this is a very good initiative that you have come up with your team. There is a lot of information that is required by most young people. I think there are a lot of opportunities out there, but in most cases, what is lacking for most young people is to be informed about these opportunities and how best to position themselves to benefit from all these opportunities. So I'm very excited to join in this conversation, and I must commend you for this great initiative. Now, to answer your question, you see, there are different ways in which you can position yourself in the business environment of today. It's quite very dynamic and it keeps changing on a daily basis. I can't really say there is a definite strategy that somebody can use to grow their business, but depending on your location, depending on your target market, depending on your mode of business, you can be able to come up with the best strategy that you can use. However, from my side, I think I'll share a few points that have enabled me to grow my brand and my business to what it has become today. First and foremost, I must say that one of the basic things that you will have to do as an entrepreneur for you to be able to grow your business and set it apart out there is to formalize your business. I think some of the other colleagues had already mentioned about the aspect of most Zambian entrepreneurs running informal businesses. What I mean by formalizing your business is firstly being able to get a business registration certificate. Whether you are a sole trade, a partnership, a limited company, you should be able to get that business registration certificate from PACRA. Just as they say that business starts from PACRA. If you are an entrepreneur, the first place where you should start from is from PACRA. Formalize your business. After that, get a tax registration. A tipping certificate is very important for your business. That is what has basically helped me, starting from the word go. When I registered my first company in 2015, I was 20 years old, and I walked to PACRA, registered Mooto Cash Suppliers. From that point, it has positioned me to be able to benefit from different opportunities, starting from funding, starting from procurement opportunities with both the private and public sector. Because you see, the business world has got a way in which it operates. You cannot get a contract to supply the government or to even supply a private institution if you do not have a business registration certificate. So the first thing that you should do is to register your business and have it formal. Second thing is you need to start understanding how that business operates. You need to be a guru in the industry that you have opted to get into. Sometimes I get to meet people that are operating, for example, in the tech space, and you ask them about what is happening in the technological space, and they clearly don't understand anything about it. That is very dangerous as an entrepreneur. You need to have everything that is happening in your industry on your fingertips. Most people, when they speak to me, they think I have a background in agriculture. No, I'm an accountant by profession, and I've never studied agriculture. But when I decided to set up my business in the agricultural space, I made sure that I understood how the agricultural space operates. Starting from the policy side, what is the agricultural policy in Zambia? What are some of the influential organizations, starting from the Food and Agriculture Organization, the projects that are being funded by the African Development Bank and what it's doing in the agricultural space? I had to understand all those things. Since I'm in poultry, I also had to understand the technical aspects of poultry. What are the common diseases in Zambia? When are they prevalent within the yearly cycles? What are the common vaccinations? Which ones are the best, what antibiotics are available for chickens, where can I get the best veterinary doctors for me to do postmortems on my chickens and understand how best to take care of them. So you need to have a whole understanding of the industry which you're operating in. If you're in the technological industry, you need to understand what are the technological trends in that industry, which organizations are interested in projects that are technologically based. So after you have understood your industry and you know it very well, you need to set a niche in your industry. A niche is an industry segment which you can focus on as an entrepreneur. I always tell people that one of the challenges why most Zambian farmers are finding it a challenge to grow their agricultural ventures is because we want to be a master of everything. You find somebody who owns 2 hectares of land and they are doing maize, they are doing sweet potatoes, they are doing tomatoes, they are doing onions, small things. And at the end of the day, when they are going to harvest, you hear that they have harvested 1 bag of maize, 1 bag of groundnuts, 1 bag of sweet potatoes, and there is no economic value that they are going to get from their venture. But what I often advise people is you need to set a niche in the industry that you are going to get into. If you are getting into the agricultural space, and you realize that you are good in livestock, you can focus on poultry, maybe you're focusing on quails, you're focusing on guinea fowls, and you become a master in that particular industry. I wouldn't advise somebody to rush into diversification when they are still starting a business, because sometimes diversification can overwhelm you and it becomes difficult for you to build your expertise in that particular line of business. So the best thing is identify a niche in the industry that you want to explore and become a master in that niche. Second thing is, can you make sure that you have got proper documentation for your business? I already spoke about the business registration. However, you also need to have other documents in place. For example, a company profile. A company profile will take your business where it's not able to reach. If today you're going to demand to go and see the procurement manager for Zesco, for example, because you want to get a contract from Zesco, you might not be given an appointment there and then, but they might ask you to drop your company profile. You leave your company profile, and at a time when the procurement manager is ready, they will be able to go through your company profile. The good thing is nowadays you can also set up virtual company profiles that can be running on your website. So somebody is able to go through your website while they are in the comfort of their bedroom, and they will be able to understand about what your business does, and you can reach out as many people as you can. Also, you need to have a laid down business plan. Now, I always tell people that a business plan will vary depending on the stakeholder that you are engaging. Personally, I always adjust my business plan depending on whom I'm communicating to and what they are interested in. But it's important to have a general business plan that clearly outlines the mandate of your business, starting from its executive summary, its business model, a SWOT analysis of your business, a PESTEL analysis of the environment that you are operating in, a risk analysis that relates to the environment that you are operating under, the ways in which you are leveraging technology in your business. You can also speak about corporate governance issue. What is your management? What is your board of directors? What is the share structure of your business? It will also elaborate on the budgets, exactly what your business is intending to achieve, and also your financial forecast for your business. So such a general business plan, which is cutting across different aspects of your business, will enable you to stand out and to communicate to any stakeholder that you are going to engage at any given time. The last thing and the most important thing is you should be able to keep proper financial records for your business. I've always told people that finance is the heart of your business. You cannot attract an investment if you don't have proper financial records. Unfortunately, this is the main challenge that is faced by most Zambian entrepreneurs. I have interacted with entrepreneurs that have a revenue as high as 20 million. But if you ask them, give me your income statement, they don't even know what an income statement is. If you ask them, what is your total asset value as a business, they don't know what the total asset value is. So you cannot raise investments or integrate with the corporate world if you don't have a clear financial reporting for your business. You need to be able to produce clear financial statements, starting from the income statement to the statement of cash flows to the balance sheet, to clearly state at what position your business is. Once you will have these documents in place, it will be able for you to bring in an investment. Because the first thing which an investor is going to look at if they are analyzing your business is, what is the financial performance of your business? What is the current ratio of your business? What is the quick ratio of your business? If they are going to invest in your business, what is the return on investment? What is the internal rate of return? What is the return of capital in the investment? They will be able to calculate all these ratios that I'm talking about by analyzing your financial statements, from your income statement to your cash flows and your balance sheet. They will be able to make an investment decision. So it's very important to keep proper financial records for your business and produce proper financial reports. Actually, I strongly recommend to entrepreneurs that if you are able to get an auditor to audit your financial reports, please do it. You should be able to get an external auditor. There are quite a number of audit firms that are SME friendly, that are charging quite reasonable amounts. You can engage them to look at your books and express an audit opinion. Once you will have those audited financial statements, I can guarantee you that you will be able to attract the necessary investments for your business. I first had our business audited in the financial year end of 2020. So we're able to produce financial statements for 2019 and 2020, and we engaged an auditor to audit both of them. When I was engaging the auditor, my team at first were a bit skeptical, and they were asking me, okay, this is your company, this is our company, why do we need to get an auditor? It's like, in most cases, when we speak about auditors, from the layman's point of view, the understanding is the auditor is coming to investigate whether there were any irregularities, and they are going to hold somebody accountable for those actions. No, we have internal auditor whose responsibilities is to ensure that the company is running properly, it's abiding with the laid down controls that have been put in place. But we have what we call external auditors that review the financial reports of an entity and express an audit opinion over those financial reports. It's that audit opinion that gives confidence to investors, to bankers and partners, to make sure that those figures which you have put in your financial reports, they are not figures that you just dreamt about, but they are figures that have been verified and have been approved by an accredited auditor. So it's very important, just as I mentioned, that we had our first audited financial statements in the year end of 2020. And I should mention to you that from 2020, when we had our financial statements, to this year, we have been able to raise a total external investment of 4 million kwacha cash that has come onto the business. So there is a lot of investment that can come in. And by the way, we only paid 30,000 to get those audited financial statements. And when I was getting them, my team was thinking, why are we spending all this much to express an opinion over our financial statements when we were not even obliged to do so by law? I said, this will give us confidence when we get on the investment market, when we will engage stakeholders and partners and tell them that our business is making an annual revenue of 3.8 million. They will also be able to see the audit opinion and see that these are actually figures that have been verified by an auditor. And for sure, it worked out. When we got those audited financial statements, we spoke to the African Development Bank and were able to see an investment of 2 million kwacha. When we were participating in the KWEZA program, we presented our audited financial statements. Those are one of the things that impressed the judges, and we were able to get the investment of 1 million. We are currently in discussion with different stakeholders and the others that have come on board, and as at today, we have been able to get a total investment of 4 million kwacha from the time that we had our financial statements audited. So it's something that would really help your business, and I strongly encourage it for SMEs. You can explore that.
Wow, that is quite insightful. Like you were speaking, I was taking notes, I was paying attention, and my mind is blown away. But amazing insights there coming from Mr. Mwale Mooto. I have so many burning questions. I see a lot of burning questions also from our audience tonight, and perhaps we can get straight to answering some of those. So I'm going to read one of the comments, one of the questions that has been asked so far, and this particular user would like to know, would like for you to talk about ways of sourcing funds for your business. And I imagine you talked about auditing already, yeah? And you gave an example of it only costed you 30,000 kwacha to get those documents. And from that, you've been able to raise over 4 million kwacha of those documents. But for somebody who's starting now, like starting from ground zero, it might sound like, it's quite a fast stretch, 30,000 spending it on, documents. Maybe their entire working capital for their business is that 30,000. Where would they start from for them to even source to a level where they get that level, where they're able to get their documents audited? Because for some people and for a lot of Zambians today, that 30,000 is a lot of money. So perhaps you can just talk a bit about that, like as a startup, like starting from that ground-based level, how do people even get like source funds, maybe just like the starting capital for their business? So perhaps you can respond to that question right after this. Okay, and we're back, Mr. Mooto.
Okay, I think first I must mention that the 30,000 is not the standard fee for audit services. It's because of the revenue that our business was generating, and also we were getting an audit for 2 years. So that is why it was 30,000. But I know of audit firms that can audit as low as 5,000, depending on the size of your business. I just wanted to have that cleared out. Now, coming to the aspect of how to source for funding when you're just starting out there. Now, I would not hide it to you. It's very difficult to gain financing for your business, especially in Zambia. Not just in Zambia, but across Africa. It's quite difficult. So you will need to understand how the investment market works and which opportunities are available out there. So firstly, I will explain the types of financing that an entrepreneur who is just starting can explore. So there are 3 types of financing that you can explore. The first thing is debt finance. Debt finance is where you either get a loan from a bank, you get a loan from your friend, your family members, and you push it into your business and you pay them back as your business begin to generate some returns. The second part is equity finance. This is where you invest in the business, like you buy shares into the business. Either you and a colleague or a family member, you put monies together and you become shareholders or owners of the business. And that money that you put together becomes the capital to start your business. That is what is called equity finance. The last part I would say is grant finance or philanthropic finance. This is finance that is coming from organizations that are impact driven, that are interested in investing in smaller businesses or projects that are in relation with their mandate, and they are going to invest in you at no return. They don't get an equity stake in your business. You don't pay back the money. It is a grant as long as you are able to replicate the impact that they are expecting. So these are the 3 options of finance which you can explore on the market. Now, when you are just starting, I must mention to you that first, grant funding can be a bit difficult when you are just starting. The reason is, in most cases, grant financiers are interested in impact and they don't want to take the risk at the initial stage. They would want you to first take the risk, prove yourself. That is when they can come on board and finance the business. Secondly, grant financing is highly competitive. The reason is every person out there wants free money. I know that it's not free money because there is some impact that you will have to report and some milestone agreements that you will have to meet. But in the actual sense, you're not free paying back the money. So because of that, there is a lot of competition in that space. There are a lot of people that are interested in grant financing. Debt financing, the cost of borrowing in Zambia is very high. So if you are going to explore the banking sector, it is going to be very expensive for you, with interest rates ranging from 20 to 25%. However, if you are on a full-time salary, that is what I often encourage people. Like if you are in formal employment, it can be a good starting point to get a loan from your salary and you pump it into your business. That is how I started myself. When I started my business like full-time, first, I had mentioned here that I registered my first business in 2015. I was working with the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission. I was investing in that business from my salary. When I started working with the British Council and moved to Lusaka and I wanted to invest in the agricultural sector, my whole investment, I financed it through a loan that I had gotten of about 150,000. That was the starting point for me. And I was paying the loan from my salary and I was able to finance the starting of the business. So if you are in formal employment, you can finance the starting of your business from a salary loan. The good thing with that is at least you are assured of a steady flow of income through your salary that will enable you to meet your loan obligation. So you can do that. However, if you're not in formal employment, you can also explore other debt financiers. Nowadays, we have a lot of microfinance institutions. We have development finance institutions, which is the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission, which is offering loans at a very low interest rate. We have the Development Bank of Zambia. It's also offering loan at very low interest rates. And we have other international development finance institutions. Now, I know that with these international development finance institutions, they have quite a robust way of applications, which most people that are starting out might not be able to meet, and they might not be able to meet their requirements. But you can start by borrowing either from family members, or getting a salary loan, or getting from development financiers from within the country, such as CEEC, the Development Bank of Zambia, the National Savings and Credit Bank, NatSave. We have EFC. We have, I think, another bank which is quite SME friendly is AB Bank. They have assisted us on some of our projects before. We have the United Bank of Africa. They have specific tailor-made loan facilities for SMEs. So you can explore all those options for debt finance. You can also explore equity finance. Now, equity finance is where you speak to your friend and your partner and set up the business together. I always tell people to say, you see, one of the reasons why African SMEs are struggling to grow is because of this attitude of always wanting to have something mine and mine alone. I always tell my colleagues that, you see, you are better off owning 20% of something than 100% of nothing. We have people that are running businesses and they are saying this is Mwale investment, and they are everywhere on Facebook about being entrepreneurs and being CEOs, but yet when you go there, they are just a one-man show kind of business, and they are not growing at all. But yet, if they brought somebody on board, they would have been able to bring on board the capital which is required, and at the same time, they would have also gained in additional expertise through that additional person that has come on board. I should mention to you that there are very few people that have a balance of all the skills that are needed to run a business. For example, I am an expert in business because I have an accounting background, I have an MBA, I understand the business side, like the technical side of business. But however, when it comes to agriculture, I don't have the technical understanding of agriculture. Though I'm trying to research here and there, I don't have. So bringing on board a partner who understands the technical side of agriculture has helped me. For example, I have my brother whom I'm working with, who is also a partner in the business, and they are handling the technical side of agriculture. They understand the anatomy of a chicken. They understand the feed composition. They understand the antibiotics that are available on the market and how they can work. So they are able to provide that technical side, which I don't have. Now, technology is a life brand of any business. I have no knowledge when it comes to technological issues, but I know that for me to position my business in the global world, which is ever changing, I should find a way of integrating technology on how I'm managing my business, starting from the accounting side to the inventory side to the marketing side. I should be able to bring in technology. What I've done is I've brought in a partner who has an understanding of IT. He's an IT specialist, he's a programmer, he's able to do applications. And right now we have a robust accounting system which we are using to manage our business, from financial management to reporting to inventory management. We're actually even using the business to bring on board other external clients. So this is a skill that I've brought on board, which I don't have through partnerships. So I always tell people that you can bring on board partners and you bring together resources. So this is what we call equity finance, where you are bringing on board different partners and they bring in their resources. Some of them, they might not bring in monetary resources, but they are bringing in skills and expertise. That is what they are bringing on board. I always tell my colleagues that, you see, one of the reasons why the Western industries have been able to grow to the viable businesses that you are seeing today is because they have leveraged the impact or the potential of partnerships. Today, when people look at Facebook, they think Facebook is Mark Zuckerberg. No, Mark Zuckerberg was a young student who was just at Harvard, who did not understand the corporate governance, who did not understand business. What has grown Facebook to what it has become today? It is the technical experts, the venture capital firms that invested a lot of money in Facebook. And by the way, if you didn't know, for the first 10 years of Facebook, it was not making any profits, but there were people that were backing up through immense investment that were going on to the business. The same thing if you are going to speak about Apple. When Apple was starting, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were young people that did not understand about business. They had to approach a business expert called Mike Makula, who came in and pumped money and assisted them to design their first business plan, pitched it with venture capital firm that invested in more money, and they were able to start financing and grow their business from what it has become today. This is consistent with all Western entrepreneurs. They have leveraged the potential of partnerships and equity investors. Now, I know that in Africa, it's very difficult to find equity investors, but we can leverage the available partnerships through mutual conversations with friends, with family members. Sometimes I meet people that are struggling to prepare their accounts, but yet they have a friend who's an accountant. They're just failing to open up to the friend to assist them with preparing their books of accounts. Probably pay them a small something or bring them on board as a partner. Then they'll be giving you free accounting services and you'll be able to grow your business. So these are some of the things that you can bring on board for you to get that investment that is needed. Lastly is you need to acquit yourselves with investment news. What are the available opportunities out there? The good thing is the internet is full of a lot of information. I always tell people that, please, when you are on the internet, don't just be busy on Facebook reading about drama that is happening with musicians and what. Try and look at some of the informative websites where we have got investment news. One good website which I found very informative is Opportunities for Africans. On a daily basis, there are a lot of opportunities that are posted there, starting from grants to debt issues to equity financiers, and a lot of programs that are available there. We have a website called Disrupt Africa. They are posting a lot of investment news about different things. We have Tereviva Grant Directory. All those are opportunities which you can explore, where you can get different opportunities for your business. So you need to start acquitting yourself with all these websites and be on top of your toes to understand the opportunities that are there and be able to explore them. At any given time, I'll tell you that I'm working on a financing opportunity. When I was seriously looking for investment for my business, I remember in 2019, there was a time when on a daily basis, I would send as much as 20 business applications, as 20 business proposals. The whole night, I would be working on business plans, from the Tony Elumelu Foundation to the African Development Bank to the African Union, different investment opportunities that I was exploring. That is what you need to do as an entrepreneur. In the first years of your business, you need to be aggressive with fundraising to try and identify the opportunities that are there. It's very important for you as an entrepreneur to build a skill in fundraising. It shouldn't be an issue of, no, me, I don't know how to fundraise, or me, I don't know how to come up with a business plan. It is actually mandatory as an entrepreneur that you need to understand and develop a skill in business planning so that you are able to market your business and get that investment that is required for your business. Thank you.
All right. Wow. Once again, very, very informative stuff we're getting here from Mr. Mwale Mooto tonight. I'm really glad we're having this chat and having this conversation. And this is already of good value to me. And I know for everybody who's watching us tonight, they're also equally benefiting from tonight's broadcast. So keep interacting with us. For all you who are joining us now, we are the chat room. We are having conversations that we believe are able to impact your life and change the world. So right about now, we'll be able to take more questions from our live audience here tonight. And one question that has stood out for me, in particular to what you just talked about, Mr. Mwale, is this question, and this user is asking, what are some of the important contents that are supposed to be in an agreement when doing partnerships? And I imagine, you talked about having partnerships as a startup. If you have a brother who's good at accounts, you gave that example, if I recall correctly. So what are some of the things that need to be, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, what are some of the things you want to look out for each partnership so that you're able to make the best partnerships for you and you don't get swindled or ripped off or anything of the sort?
Actually, that's a very good question. I've often heard people saying partnerships don't work in Africa. Partnerships don't work in Africa. The reason why partnerships don't work in Africa is because they are often not documented. You just find two friends that will say, oh, Mana, I think we can start this business. Maybe it's a business of selling clothes. Then they'll put some money together, they start selling. When you are just starting, yes, there will be no challenges, but I will assure you that immediately money starts coming in. That is where the problem starts in. if the partnership is not documented. So you need to make sure that you have got a clear partnership agreement, which is outlining, first thing, what are the responsibilities of each partner. It should be clear. I've had entrepreneurs that have come to consult with us and they're saying they're partners. But when you ask them, okay, what do you do in the business? You can clearly see what the other person does. When you ask what the other person does, there's clearly nothing. Some of them will say, no, this one escorts me. And when I'm going somewhere, he's the one who's escorting me. Are you going to give somebody a shareholding in a business because they're escorting you where you're going? Or because they're always chatting with you on the phone? No. So it should be clear, what are their responsibilities? Are they bringing in a monetary value? It should be stated. If it's 20,000, 100,000, it should be stated. If they are bringing expertise, it should be stated. So the responsibilities of each partner should be clearly stated. Secondly, the expectations from the partnerships of each partner. For example, if it is expectations of professional services from the partnerships, or if it's an expectation of returns in terms of the profits that will be made by the business, it should be clearly stated in the partnership. If you are having a 50-50 partnership, it should be clear that 50-50 partnership, at what ratio are the returns going to be shared? And at what point are you going to be sharing returns? Because I've had issues where sometimes a partnership has been done and the other partner wants to be getting profit shares every month. But that's not how business is run. Profits are declared at the end of the year. But if it's not clear, the other partner will be saying, me, I've got rentals to pay. So if we have made profits, let us share the money this month. And how would you be able to grow the business there? It will be difficult. So it should be clear that if the profits are shared quarterly, if profits are shared annually, it should be stated. If there are any retained earnings from the profit, it should also be clear in the partnership agreement. How much will you be retaining to grow the business? Because there are other partners who would expect that if the profit is 100,000, the whole lot of it should be removed and shared. But yet there should be an aspect of business growth so that the business is reinvesting and it is growing. So it should also be stated in the partnership agreement how much of the profits is going to be retained into the business to grow the business going further. Secondly, it should also be clear on the share structures. So oftentimes, I know that people, especially from the African point of view, people get uncomfortable when you begin to talk about shares or even just about money. The way we have been groomed as Africans is if you are going to talk about money, then you are greedy. So in most cases, people always avoid to talk about it. So you will find a partnership where the other one is clearly putting in more, starting from the money, starting from the expertise, starting from the time. The other one is putting very little, but the understanding is it's a 50-50 share percentage. When the business begins to make money and the other one who's putting in more begins to realize how much they are putting in and how much less the other partner is bringing on board, they begin to complain. And as they begin to complain, they begin to feel that the other partner is swindling them and their commitment begins to go down, or they want to pull out of the partnership, or problems begin to come in. But the reason is because they did not clearly state from the very beginning what is the share percentage of each partner. I will be very honest with you that I have worked out from partnership agreements because I was not comfortable with the share percentage that I was given. So sometimes if you're not comfortable with the share percentage, don't sit and say, oh, no, if I'm going to refuse the 20% or the 40% or the 50%, I'll be looked at to be greedy. Then you sit there. It is better that you walk out and go and start something of your own, or you negotiate your way through to be able to get a clear deal for yourself that you'll not regret in the future. Secondly, one thing that I want to highlight is, especially if you are dealing with international or more established investors, it's important to seek expert advice when it comes to a partnership agreement. I will be very, very straight with you when it comes to this. There are a lot of people that are offering investments out there, but sometimes their kind of partnership agreement might not be friendly to you as a small business or as an enterprise, and in the future you might regret. So I've seen businesses that have foreclosed to a point where an investor has taken over the whole business because there were a few nitty-gritties that were in the investment agreement which the entrepreneur did not read. So if you are considering an international investor or an established investor, it's important that you bring in an investment lawyer or an accountant or a business expert to review the partnership agreement and advise you on how best to go about it. Don't rush into signing an investment agreement which you have not yet properly read.
Okay, wow, wow. That is very, very insightful. Quite a great number of questions that we're having in tonight. I wish we could attend to all of them, but because of time, we won't be able to attend to them. But please do continue interacting with us. Once again, we are the chat room, and tonight we're joined by Mr. Mwale Mooto, one of right now one of my favorite entrepreneurs in Zambia. I am growing to love this man more and more by the day. So just momentarily, we'll be hearing a couple of thoughts from Jackie as she interacts with Mr. Mwale Mooto here tonight, right after this.
Good evening, Mr. Moto. Wow, what an experience. I've just been learning, and I feel like, in a way, it's a confrontation. Like, wait, I have all these resources and I haven't really been using them. I've got friends that are good at this and I haven't really been doing that. So, thank you so much for, just bringing out, yeah, you're talking to us, the youth. You're really talking to us, and it's an amazing challenge, and I hope everyone, take it, seriously and just I think if you sit down and just start seeing the amazing opportunities and also skills that are around you that you can use to grow, wow, then you can become big. And once again, thank you so much. It's an amazing learning experience, Barry. Wow, thank you so much for inviting me. It's amazing. Yeah. So my question this evening, and I've been thinking about it the whole way through, is you have 30 minutes to more like strike a deal with an investor or interest them to invest in your business. What are the key points? Let's say you don't have maybe even 30 minutes, you just have the 10 minutes, because I believe these people that have money is time. I mean, time is money. Sorry. Uh, how can you interest them? Like, what are the key points that you can bring out to just lure them in and have them invest in your business?
Answer? Okay. So thank you very much for that question. I think the first thing that I would love to highlight is the investment market is changing. The investment market is no longer interested in profits only, but they are now interested in impact. So what I often tell entrepreneurs is, if you don't have a way of incorporating social impact in your business, it will be very difficult for you to raise investment or finance in today's investment market, because investors are no longer interested in profits only. Even if you invest in my business, some feedback. Okay, I think the feedback is now gone. So what I was saying is, investors are no longer interested in profits only, but they're interested in impact. So you need to be able to illustrate how your business is able to bear social impact. So to answer your question, if you have got 10 minutes to discuss with an investor or to deliver a high-level pitch for your business, the first thing that you should highlight is, what problem are you solving? Start talking about the problem. Investors are, the 21st century investors are interested in resolving problems. So talk about the problem. After I've spoken about the problem, talk about the solution that you are bringing on board. After I've talked about the solution, then align your solution with the global agenda. What is the global agenda? The SDGs. I always tell people that if you are an entrepreneur and you don't know the SDGs, it will be very difficult for you to raise investment, because every investor right now is tying their money to the SDGs. That's the global agenda which the world is following. So when you are in business, you need to find yourself of aligning your business with the SDGs. So when you're communicating your solution to an investor, you're able to illustrate which SDG are you tackling as an enterprise. SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals. They are goals that have been set up by the United Nations, which all the UN member states have acceded to, and most global organizations are investors are interested in resolving these goals. So you need to illustrate how your solution is in line with those goals. The second thing is give an insight of your financials. Investors, yes, they're interested in impact, but they are also interested in money. They're interested in sustainability. Investors don't want a business that they will perpetually have to keep investing in, or they don't want a business which will not be able to grow. So from that high level pitch that you will give them, you need to be able to illustrate that this is how much you are going to be making. Secondly, you are supposed to illustrate the competence of your team. The investors want to know who will be managing their monies. How competent are they? These people that will be managing their money. So 5 things that I've talked about here. The first thing, problem. Highlight what your problem is. The second thing, what solution are you bringing on the table? The third thing, how is your solution connected to the global agenda via the SDGs? The fourth thing is the financial performance of your business or the forecast of your finances. The last thing is the competence of your team. These 5 things are very important in any pitch. Now, what I often tell people is any business can be aligned to these things. For example, I've met people that have told me, okay, I'm just running a barber shop. So if you are talking about problem, how am I solving a problem? Because this is just a barber shop. Maybe it's because you're in agriculture and you're solving problems for farmers. So that is why you have got an easier way to illustrate what your problem and your solution is. Now, any business can be aligned according to these 5 steps. I'll give you a very practical example. You are running a barber shop in, let's say, for example, here in Chirombo, where I live, and you are pitching to an investor. This is how I'm going to pitch. For example, my name is Mwale Mooto. I run a business called Kuwaha Barbershop in Mwembeshi area. Mwembeshi area is a rural district in Chibombo district that has got a very few barbershops. Most of the residents in Mwembeshi area depend on cutting their hair using laser blades. So because of this has increased the HIV prevalence rates, and a lot of young people are struggling with sores in their heads. As Kuwaha Barbershop, we are committed to resolving this problem by setting up a solar-powered barbershop in Mwembeshi area. This solar-powered barbershop will assist the local residents of Mwembeshi area to stop using laser blades and scissors and now be able to have a good haircut. This will assist in reducing on the HIV prevalence rates that is in Mwembeshi area. It will also assist young people in Mwembeshi area to go to school because they will now have a good, neat haircut. This business is expected to generate at least 20,000 on a monthly basis with an internal rate of return of 50%, which will give us a net profit of 10,000 kwacha. We have a competent team of young professionals with Mr. Barry and Madam Jackie. Madam Jackie is a young professional who has experience in barbing and has been barbing in Mwembeshi for the past 5 years. Mr. Barry is committed with finance and he has a diploma from Evelyn Horn College in accounting and finance. With this team, we are confident that we will be able to service the people of Mwembeshi area and resolve their challenges. Thank you. Any investor is going to be impressed with such a pitch because you have illustrated the problem, you have talked about the solution, you have talked answers, and you have also spoken about the competence of your team. So in any business, you can find a solution. Any business that you can speak about, there is a way in which you can align it to this thing.
Wow, Mr. Mooto, that you were speaking, and I was like, wow, you really are born for this, and that was really an amazing pitching example right there. And I was thinking, if I'm an investor, I'm definitely investing in that. So we excited to have you again once here tonight, and this has been very, very informative. Of course, and I wish we could go on and on and on. I know we're learning so much. Mr. Mwale Mooto obviously has so much to share. If you don't follow him already, please do follow him on his Facebook handle, on his Facebook handle at Mwale Mooto. He's following him on LinkedIn as well. I'm sure he's on Instagram and all other social medias as well. And you'll be able to get more insight because he likes to share on a daily basis. He's always talking about something there, and you'll be able to pick that up. So tonight, our guest has been Mr. Mwale Mooto. We've been talking about entrepreneurs, how entrepreneurs can set themselves up how entrepreneurs can set themselves up in order to get investment and partnerships. So, Mr. Mwale, we are about to conclude, but I have one question, one final question for you, and it has to do with our current situation here in Zambia. You know, a lot of youths excited about the CDF coming out, excited about developmental agenda in regards to the government and whatnot. So currently, our CDF Alliance talks about being able to give cooperatives, which are groups of 10 people, 40,000 kwacha as grants, and then they're also giving soft loans to businesses, mostly which are going to be youth businesses and women-led businesses, which will be able to access a soft loan, which has to be paid back, and people can get financing of up to 200,000 kwacha. I would like to hear your thoughts on this, especially when it comes to the grants and the cooperatives.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'm very excited about this program that the government is doing, but at the same time, I'm worried about it. Now, I'm excited because I know it's a great opportunity. We have an unemployment crisis in this country. If you have interviewed before, you will realize how we have so many unemployed people. There are sometimes when we have just advertised for a position of one person and we have ended up receiving 1,000 applications, to a point even you who's shortlisting, you don't even have time to read all of them. You just start doing picky doy, and you choose which one to go with, because you can't read all the thousands of them. So it's an employment crisis, and the strategy which the government is using of youth empowerment through cooperatives, businesses, and enhancing entrepreneurship and business development support to young people is a very good strategy that will improve the business sphere and assist a lot of young people to set up their own businesses and create jobs. However, I am worried because I know I've had a background with dealing with these empowerment programs in Zambia. By the way, I worked with the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission for 2 years. I was the finance and administration officer for Western Province. My role was to receive these applications, review them, and discuss with the committee that is selecting. So I was actively involved in that. And I would tell you that CEEC was a great initiative that the government had made. And a lot of money was pumped into CEEC, billions of kwacha that could have transformed this country with a very good agenda. I remember the value chain program. They structured proper value chains in each of the provinces in this country. They identified favorable value chains. I remember in Western Province, we're dealing with the mango value chain, the rice value chain, the cassava value chain, and the fish value chain, of which we were supposed to develop proper industries in each of these value chains. And there was a lot of money that government pumped in this. But I would tell you that if you go back to Western Province now, you will still not find a viable fish value chain. You will not find a viable mango value chain. You will not find a viable cassava value chain. Most of those projects have remained white elephants. Why? It's because in most cases, the attitude of Zambians towards public finance is bad. People will receive a grant of 40,000 today, tomorrow they are drunk in a bar. Youth is going to receive a 50,000 to run a business. Immediately, the money hits their account. The next day, they'll withdraw the whole amount, share it among themselves, and they don't even follow their business plan. That is the trend across all empowerment programs in Zambia. From the CEEC, I've seen it firsthand myself, to the Youth Empowerment Fund. I have interacted with Ministry of Youth officials and even sat on some committees with the Ministry of Youth. It's the same thing. The Development Bank of Zambia, with that, it's actually sad because some of the people that are getting those money are high-profile individuals whom we're expecting to be a bit more financially disciplined. But even them, they have gotten millions from the Development Bank of Zambia. They have not paid. They have squandered the money. They have bought big cars. They have done what? Nothing has happened. That is the reason why I fear with these numerous empowerment programs that the government is doing. Because if this attitude that we have as young people, as Zambians, does not change, I can guarantee you, Mr. Barry, Jackie, and everybody else on the panel, these monies will be nothing. But people are going to squander the money. They are going to drink the money. They'll buy cars. They'll buy clothes. So the first thing that we have to work on is to change the mindset of the entrepreneurs that we are going to finance. This is one thing that I'm communicating. I'm in touch with different members of parliament that are running these CDF funds and the like. So what I'm telling them is, please, let's not be in a hurry to dish out these monies to young people that have not been well molded. Most of our young people do not have financial discipline. If you give them a 10,000 today, they can't even sleep in their house. They'll be drunk the next day. So let's make sure that firstly, we change the mindset of our people. Secondly, let's put in place proper mechanisms on how we are going to disperse these funds. Personally, I'm against the issue of making cash disbursements. There should be a clear mechanism. Either it should be in-kind financing where they're directly buying equipment or working capital for these people, and there should be robust monitoring. For example, there should be independent people that are on the signing mandate of withdrawing these monies. Government should also invest in a proper IT infrastructure that should be able to track any payments, and the CDF committees should be able to track and approve the payments that are being made. With such robust mechanisms in place, we will be able to gain significant returns from these projects. But if we don't do this, it will be the same CEEC story, the DBZ story, the NatSave story, the Youth Empowerment story, the different World Bank project, the PPCRA project, for example. Millions from the World Bank. Up to now, we are not seeing any goats, we are not seeing any chickens, we are not seeing any processing facilities. It's only stories that are there on the paper. So really, I'm excited about this thing, but at the same time, I fear for it because it can turn out to be a huge catastrophe where a lot of money has been pumped in by the government, but yet nothing has been done.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we are looking at government releasing a lot of money. Over 3 million kwacha will go to youth and women empowerment. But is Zambia ready for this change? And most of this money is soft loans, I must mention. You know, are Zambians in a capacity where they're able to get these soft loans and pay them back? Or are we looking at money that will go and then we'll hear stories, scandals upon scandals? So is Zambia ready? I think Mr. Mwale here, Mr. Mwale Mooto, has alluded to the fact that there's need for deep and serious capacity building for young people so they're able to bring about the developmental agenda the government is trying to push for. All right, so as we conclude, Mr. Mwale Mooto, we're going to allow for one more question from Eunice Mwenya just before we let you go and end today's session. All right, Eunice, you can go ahead. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe she's having a network trouble. Okay, so once again, thank you, Mr. Mwale Mooto, for coming through tonight. We're looking to having more such discussions, and there's really a need to have more such discussions as we continue to grow and develop as individuals, as businesses, even as a country. So once again, thank you for making time to be here tonight. We'll be looking forward to interacting more with you. For everybody else who's watching us via ambassadors pages, we're glad you're here. Unfortunately, we cannot tap into your comments because you are not watching us from the chat room platform or an approved ambassador. However, we are glad you're here. Please do join us on the chat room group. We're having such conversations every Sunday at 1940 hours with various guests like Mr. Mwale Mooto, who are willing to come on the platform and share their insights with you with the agenda to develop you so we can develop as a nation. So once again, for everybody who's watching us tonight, thank you for tuning in. Mr. Mwale Mooto, thank you for coming through. I'll allow for a closing statement from you before we end tonight's program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barry and your team. This is a very good initiative that you have come up with, and I'm very open to featuring on any of your future discussions. I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship and about business and youth empowerment in this country because, to be honest, the future of this country is in us, the young people, and that future is in us being innovative and leveraging our energy and expertise as young people to be more productive and develop this country. So I'm available on my Facebook page. You can visit Mwale Mooto page. I'm available on LinkedIn. You can also visit our Mooto Holding page. We have a whole team of business development experts that are available to provide you with any assistance, starting from business planning, company profiling, from fundraising, project proposal writings, accounting system, financial reporting, all those issues that relate to your business. We are available to assist you with that. So thank you very much for featuring me on this program. And I want to encourage you that if you are there just starting out in business, please Can you just be patient with your business, work hard with your business, position yourself for those opportunities, and definitely you're going to make it. Zambia is ripe for investment. I'm very honest with you when it comes to that. There are a lot of opportunities in this country, a lot of land, arable land for that matter, a lot of resources, and a lot of investment which is coming into the country from outside. Right now in Southern Africa, we are positioned very well because we are at the center of Southern Africa. And this gives us an added advantage for investment because international investors are looking at us as an intersection for them to be able to tap across the SADC region. And that positions us very well. And there's a lot of financing out there. If you can prepare your financials, prepare your business, and set up a good business model for yourself, you definitely attract the investment. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Mr. Mwale. To our viewers watching us here and there, we'll be seeing you at this time next Sunday on the chat room where we are having conversations that are changing the world. So from us here tonight, good night, have a good night, have a productive week ahead of you, and God bless you. See you next time.